Hey everyone, I'm Kristen, the cross stitching runner, and welcome to my channel. I want to say a big hello and welcome to all new and returning viewers. And if by chance you've stumbled across this channel is all about cross stitch with a bit of life stuff thrown in. And today is Tuesday, the 14th of July, and winter has finally hit Canberra for the last week or so at the most. We are finally getting the colder temperatures that we are meant to get during winter, and it is something that I'm acknowledging at the moment because I've got the blinds up at the moment. It is cloudy, it's been raining off and on, and the lighting may be impacted for this video, I'm not sure. The other thing I also want to acknowledge, and you would have already seen this for the video, I just want to apologise for how long this video has gone for. It's gone for longer than I had initially planned for, but all of it is pre-wars stitching related because I am catching up with you all about the WIPs that I've worked on since we last caught up, and then I've also got some more solid plans, probably more solid-ish plans for the Commonwealth Games that are starting up roughly this time next week. Roughly this time next week, based over in Glasgow. So my aim from the last video was to do some Christmas stitching based around all of that. So if you're interested in finding out how all of that is going to work, please stick around for that. In the meantime, if you could please subscribe, and all of those wonderful things if you're enjoying what this video brings. And then also if you could try that new feature of clicking on the hype button. I'd love to see how that works and how it can have such a positive impact on these videos. Until then, I hope you enjoy what I have to share with you, and let's get into it. With all of the WIPs that I'm going to be sharing with you today, they're all connected to a stitching challenge that I've been doing for about 3 years now that's associated with the AFL. And what I've been doing with the AFL stitching challenge, if you're curious about it, I've got all the minute details about it all on the Hot Cross Stitching website under the Challenges tab. So with the AFL Stitching Challenge, where we've just finished round 18, I haven't done any stitching for round 18, so the stitching updates that I've got for the projects are for rounds 16 and 17. And the first project, I'm going to be looking down at some notes that are in front of me, and I've got my WIPs a little bit out of order, so I apologise in advance for any stalling of where I'm up to trying to figure out who's what where. So the first project that I have to share with you is called Spanish Proverb, a life lived in fear. So the full wording is, a life lived in fear is a life half lived, and it's a hot cross stitching design. This is roughly what it will look like when it's done. I am stitching this on 18 count AIDA that I had purchased a few years ago to work on the project, and whenever I do work on this, I fall in love with it each time. I enjoy stitching it so much that even though in this particular case I had a minimum of 96 stitches to put into it, I know that I put at least double that. And to help put into perspective for this piece, it has a total of 152,305 stitches in it. It is a partial coverage piece, and I am at 5.05%. I have stitched so far 7,688 stitches, and this is where I'm up to. Sorry, fumble fingers. So this is where I'm up to. And I just really do love working on this. I have been putting most of my time and effort into the wings of the butterfly, especially the lower half of the wings, and it's enjoyable. I really do love this piece. So this is where I'm up to. So this ultimately is the 7,000 plus stitches. It is going to look so good when this is done. I have the hope that when it is eventually finished, that I can enter it into the Canberra show, or if I've got the confidence to hopefully enter it into other shows as well, because I'm loving how nice and neat these stitches are. Okay, the next piece that I have to share with you is called Pisces, and it is a personal design. It's not going to be available for sale or anything like that, because I don't know who the people are that I need to properly credit for the image and quote, because it is the words that I'm looking for are the image and quote are separate, and I've just joined them together to create the design. And this is roughly what it will look like when it's done. I am a Pisces, and I also had seen this image a while ago, and I just love the colors on this. And the quote on it doesn't show up very well, which can be a good thing, but it says Pisces. Not everyone gets the same version of me. One person will tell you I'm a beautiful soul. Another will tell you I'm a cold-hearted arsehole. Believe both. I act accordingly. And with this particular piece as well, I mucked up a little bit when I started stitching it, and I had been working on some other pieces where it was 2/2, and this piece was designed to be stitched 1/1, so it was an umpty mistake on my part. This is being stitched 2/2 on 28 count fabric, and I've spent most of my stitching over here, where you can see my finger twitching a bit. I did put some stitches over on the other side here, where you see my other fingers twitching. So with Pisces, I put a minimum of 97 stitches in it for round 16, and then 73 stitches for round 17, because for round 16 and 17, Port Adelaide won their games, and with this particular piece, it has a lot of colours in it that I associate with Port Adelaide in terms of their team colours. Mostly the teal colour that we see for the Pisces symbol. And yeah, this is coming along nicely. Now, what I'm also saying, rather, the reason why I mentioned about my markup with this piece when I started stitching this 2/2 was that I am needing to get a bit creative. So with the width of this design, it should actually be a little bit wider either side of it, and as much as I could add extra fabric and do the things to include those extra stitches, I've decided now I'll just sort of crop it as I'm stitching, and try to allow a little bit of a border so I can frame it or do something with it. I know this is going to take me a while to finish. I don't have any immediate plans of, or ideas rather, of how I'm going to finish it. Now, to put it into perspective, this piece has 134,913 stitches in it if I were stitching this 1/1. I have so far put in 14,712 stitches to bring me up to a percentage of 10.90%. So I have, based on percentages and such, I've recently started to see a trend in some of the floss tubers I like watching, specifically the Max Color Stitcher and Jessie Marie does stuff, both of them have been talking a bit about the rounding up of percentages and stitching 500 or 1,000 stitches to help with those percentages. And I'm starting to see some other Flosstubers start to hint at that as well. And I'm liking that idea. How much I'll jump on board for it, I don't know, wait and see. It is something that I think is pretty cool. It's just something a little bit different. And I know that in terms of the full coverage fanatics on the Facebook group, I know that Kim has set up a variety of challenges that many of us can follow if we choose, some of which is connected with having the goals of completing X amount of or reaching a certain percentage for specific pieces. And for me, that requires a lot of mathing that I struggle with. Maths has never been my strong point. So wait and see. It's a nice nice goal to have of thinking, okay, well, I want to reach percentage X on this piece. Wait and see. Wait and see. Now, the next piece that I have to share with you is one that I'm slowly bringing back into rotation because we're in July. Many people are stitching Christmas in July. And this particular piece, I have just 4 little Scottie dogs to finish, and then the piece is done, which is going to be exciting, but sad at the same time because I've loved stitching on this fabric. So to put into perspective, this is future me. I just needed to jump into this particular spot here because when I was going back through my notes with Scottie dogs, I actually had it associated with a team called the Melbourne Demons in round 17. They won their game and they had a final score of 125 points. So I decided that I wanted to stitch at least one of the Scottie dogs, and then it was actually later on that I had stitched the second dog. So I just wanted to add this little note before I start rambling on about how awesome they are. Fabric. So to put into perspective, the Scottie dogs that I'm talking about are from Ultimate Cross Stitch Christmas. This is volume 1920 from the year 2018. If you can sort of tell just with the wear and tear on the side here, this is a well-loved magazine book. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I've stitched quite a few patterns from this. Most recently I've started the Snow Queen here, where you can see my fingers tapping on the cover, and I'm very much enjoying this. So to put into perspective of what Scottie dogs look like, here we are. Okay, so the Scottie dogs are designed by Lucie Heaton. This is what they'll look like when they're done. I'm following the pattern as closely as I practically can, but I've also put some intentional personalizations in it. Some of them have been unintentional as well. So with this particular piece, it's charted to be stitched on 14 count white Aida, and it's got the finishing measurements of 14 inches by 14 inches or 35 by 35 centimeters. Now, in terms of the intentional personalizations, we'll start off with the fabric. I have had this fabric in my stash for quite a while, and I believe this to be a Joberlin. I believe it to be a 28 count. This fabric, I love it so much. It is so soft and beautiful to stitch on, and I appreciate that it's been a little while since I have shown this piece, but I've potentially even raved on about it for a while when I have shown this piece. I just love how soft this material is. And the really good thing though is, as sad as I'll be to finish this piece because of how soft the fabric is, I still have a bit left over. So you might be able to see a vertical crease line in this fabric, and that's potentially where I'll cut the fabric as a way of trimming things. And with the fabric, the blank fabric on the side here where my fingers are twitching, I have so many options of what I could stitch on this, and I'm not going to speculate right now as to what that might be, because we have so many awesome designs and options out there that yeah, I just want to leave my options open for the moment. Now, aside from the fabric, the other personalizations, intentional, that I've done for these cute little dogs are based around the colors I've done for the jackets, the collars and such, that the accessories that these puppy dogs are wearing, where I have wanted to use some of the variegated threads and specialty threads that I have in my collection, just to give it a bit of uniqueness. And also, in some circumstances, I just got lazy and I couldn't be bothered to get up and get the right colours I needed for example, the purple collar that this little dog is wearing. I apologise, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Hang on. The beauty of saying that I'm about to sneeze tends to mean that the sneeze is going to disappear. It may come back. I apologise in advance. I really hope it doesn't come back during filming. So, getting back to colour choices. So, I love that the little white dog with the purple collar, that was a conscious choice. I think the colours for the special Scottish beret style hat, they, again, all of it, I think with the exception of the little guy over here with his jacket, I think I did use the correct colours, or the called for colours, charted colours. But everyone else, all their accessories are still paying homage to what's been charted. I've just personalized them a little bit, so that has been super cool. And since we last caught up, what I've done, once I've caught up on most of my stitching, I have stitched where am I? I've stitched puppy dog with the uh, white dog with the bow, and then the grey dog with the hat. So I haven't really counted as to how many stitches there are per puppy dog. They feel like a quick stitch. Quick in the sense that it may just be 4 hours of stitching. I haven't timed myself, but because of the size and the cuteness of these little guys, I feel like I'll be able to sit down and get this finished by the end of the Commonwealth Games. And I'll talk a bit more about the plans I have for these guys when it comes time to talk about the Com Games. Okay, so the next piece that I have to share with you, I am going to be trying to keep things in bags where I can. So the next piece I have to share with you is the black and white rolled up daisy. I apologise, I've not ironed any pieces, and with the black and white rolled up daisy, bear with me, I'll get the cover chart and cover picture and we'll go from there. Okay, so the black and white rolled up daisy is a hot cross stitching design based on a photo that I took a while ago. I still love how this photo has turned out, and this particular piece has been charted to be stitched on 18 count black Ada, and yep, around the right way. So this is where I'm up to, and from a distance it is looking really good. Now in round 16 I put at least 106 stitches into it. Then in round 17, I put at least 104. So this piece has gotten at least 210 stitches into it. And yeah, it's turning out we're getting there. We are getting there. Now, in terms of black and white rolled up daisy, as far as stats are concerned, this has a total of 63,953 stitches. I have so far put in 36,410, which means that I'm at a percentage of 56.93%. I'm actually amazed, because I don't look too closely at percentages and how many stitches and all the jazz that goes with it. When I do actually pay attention to that kind of thing, it does amaze me going, wow, I've actually made more progress than I thought that I had. So that is pretty cool. I do like that. Now, next piece that I have to share with you is Fight Like a Girl. Now, Fight Like a Girl, I've got connected with the Brisbane Lions, and they won their games for round 16 and round 17. And it also means that I have put in at least 300. So, to put into perspective, this is where I'm up to so far. And while we're having a squiz at the progress, I'm stitching this on 18 count navy blue Ada. Now, for round 16, I put in at least 126 stitches. Then for round 17, I put in at least 123 stitches. I'm also noting that I put in plus 23, so that means it was 146 stitches that were put in for round 17. Yeah, it's slowly coming along. This piece initially was charted to have a mixture of full cross and tent stitch, and when I eventually put it into Pattern Keeper, I was struggling to remember as to which symbol represented full cross and which symbol represented tent stitch. And a friend of mine, Tess, she came up with a fantastic suggestion of just picking one symbol and saying, okay, make a note for yourself and assign symbol blah for tent and then symbol blah for the other, or even somehow, rather, no, my memory's coming back better, that for the symbol that required, say, tent stitch, for example, I have the ability to update Pattern Keeper to have blended threads, or to put in the number twice. And so somehow using that function of Pattern Keeper to use that for showing a tent stitch compared to full cross. I made an attempt with that and I still struggled. My memory still didn't work very well, so I'm just doing full cross for the rest of it. And it's coming out pretty good. It's all good in the end. And so that's all good for that. Now, the next piece I worked on, and I love that this is coming back into rotation. So I just need to get the cover page for it, and I'll be back super soon. One thing I do want to note, and I want to try and be consistent with this. Okay, so this is just for memory, cover page for Fight Like a Girl, designed by Tanya Amity, illustration by Elena Gnedkova. I had bought this chart off Etsy, and since I've been talking about percentages, stitches, and so forth, this piece has a total of 73,278 stitches. So far, I've put 25,111 stitches into it, which means that I've got a percentage of 34.27 completed so far. And in terms of the cover page for the Blue Mountains walking trail, which is a hot cross stitching design, this is what it'll look like roughly when it's done. And with the Blue Mountains walking trail, I finally gotten back into it being connected with the Carlton Blues. They are finally having a good season. And with the Carlton Blues, they won their game in round 17. I needed to put a minimum of 117 stitches into it. And then in round 17, I needed to put a minimum of 78 stitches. So I've got some hanging threads here, but it shouldn't detract too much from it. So this is where I'm up to. I am stitching this 1/1 on 25 count fabric. The squares are 20 by 20 compared to the 10 by 10 that we are traditionally accustomed to. And this is going to take me ages to do because it does have a lot of confetti in it to give it that detail that I love and to really do the picture justice. So to help put into context for it, this piece has a total of 209,422 stitches. To date, I have put in 11,616 stitches, which means that I have a completed percentage of 5.55%. And it is very much going to be a slow progress. I think in this case, it's going to be worth it. And I hope that as time goes on, I can have it as a focus piece and really put some time and effort into it to really get that progress in it and really show just how amazing this piece is going to be. So I'm going to get myself a little bit more organized so I can share some more progress with you, and I'll be back super soon. The next piece that I have to share with you is called Patient Stitcher, and it's designed by Tempting Tangles Designs. And this is what it will look like when it's done. The quote says, "Stitching doesn't take patience, it teaches patience." And as soon as I saw that, I definitely decided I needed to have it. And I love the use of the variegated threads in this, and the absolutely fantastic, wonderful thing with this is that it's been designed so that I can even stitch some of the smaller motifs, like the yellow ones that we see sitting behind the words, that I could even stitch those as smalls and have them as pin cushions or scissor fobs or anything similar to that. So I have personalized this a little bit in terms of the variegated thread that I've chosen for it. It is a Dinky Dyes silk called, oh no, the words are a Dinky Dyes thread called True Blue, but the variegated thread, I really can't remember what it was. It'll be all right though. It's all good. So this is being stitched on an 18 count fabric that has been dyed by Pelicans Designs. This is as wide as it's going to be, and I put at least, where am I? I put at least 117 stitches into this because the Saints finally won a game, and yeah, it's all turning out pretty cool. The variegated colours in this, I do like. I'm feeling doubtful because the green is just a lot more vibrant than I had anticipated, and I'm feeling doubtful about how it's turning out. I do like the words and quotes and such and how that's coming out because, as I mentioned, I'm using the Dinky Dyes True Blue variegated thread, and then I think this was the yellow is like a buttercup or something from like Weeks Dye Works or something similar to that. But if I really wanted to stick to the Aussie theme, then I could easily use Cottage Garden Threads Buttercup for this. And this is the variegated thread. Now, I do have some other variegated thread nearby that I think probably could have been equally as good. Now, I actually received this as a gift as part of the trip I did to Adelaide, and I, as a side note, I have fallen in love with silks and stitching with them. They just feel so good. So this is a Silks for You floss. So where I'm going with all of this is if I stitch Patient Stitcher again, then I think this could be a really good variegated thread for the border. That's where I'm going with that. And yeah, this fabric is really nice. I'm enjoying stitching on it, and yeah, it's turning out pretty cool. Not much more I can say. Now, with the next piece that I have to share with you, this one isn't associated with any specific team. I am not keeping full track record of who's what where in terms of stats and all the jazz that goes with it. But this next piece that I have to share with you is a I was initially going to use the word mashup, but when I had a stitching catch up with two awesome friends the other day, they had used the phrasing Frankenstein instead, and that fits better. So this is my entry to the Canberra Royal Show, and this is where I'm up to. So I've not worked on carousels for a while, but I've been putting most of my attention into the farm animals one, into the panel over the side here. And I love that I can start to see a bit of the stitching definition for the shoe. I can see the leaf. For much of a muchness though, it's going to take a while. Now, if you have been, words are becoming difficult. It is the morning. I have had a big coffee, so words shouldn't be so hard. What I can say though is that with farm animals, I have talked a little bit about this in my previous episode and even in episodes prior. So I won't go into full blown details. What I can say is that I'm loving the progress so far, and my aim is to get it at least halfway up, if not near parallel to where the carousel is, so I can then put some more detail or stitching back into where the carousels are, and then move across to the other side, noting how wide this fabric is. That I do eventually want to put stitching in for Grandma's Pantry, and I just need to be so much aware of time and such because I need to get it finished by the end of January. Theoretically, it should be the end of December this year. We'll wait and see. The nose is bothering me. We'll get there and have it framed up. The aim for doing it like I am is Canberra is going to be celebrating 100 years of its royal show, and the theme is 100 years of the Canberra show. And I just wanted to feature some of the main things that, at least in my mind, make the show as awesome as it is. And for me, as I've talked about in previous episodes, it's the show rides, it's the animals, it's the CWA, the Country Women's Association side of things, where it's the floral designs, it's the preserves, cake decorating, the arts and crafts. It's that side of things as well. And yeah, that to me is what sort of encompasses the show, I guess, with any of the shows. So we'll wait and see. Hopefully it all goes well. Now, the next piece that I have to share with you is called Pelicans. Now, Pelicans is a Country Threads design, and it is a physical chart. So I'm not going to have exact details or anything for you. And with Pelicans, I've got it associated with the Sydney Swans. I am stitching this on 14 count Ada. I do have threads floating around, so it is what it is. And I've been still focusing a bit over with the posts behind the Pelican. As we can see, I've been putting some work onto his second wing that's stretched out. Now, with the Swans, they are a bit hit and miss with their game. They are second on the ladder. However, they lost their game in round 16, but they won their game in round 17. So I put a minimum of 90 stitches into Pelicans. And my additional awkwardness, I'm folding this up just to try and make this a bit easier to show. So where Mr. Pelican's neck connects with his wing and the rest of his body, I have mucked up the stitching a little bit there somehow. So that's where I figured that if I can put some work into the second wing and then work back towards the rest of his body and neck and such, I can then somehow fudge things just a little bit and fix up where I've made a mistake. That's the theory, that's the thought. Hopefully it all works, and yeah, it'll be okay. It's all good. I have no firm thoughts on when exactly I'll get this finished. I'd like to think 2 years maximum. It'll be done, but we'll wait and see. It's all cool. It's all good. Okay, so the next piece that I have to share with you is called a stitch and tie, and I've got this connected with, I've got it connected with the GWS Giants, and I'm just going to get the cover page sorted out and it'll all be good. The really cool thing with our community, and I've mentioned this many times before, I totally appreciate, there's a lot of people who are working on a stitching time, whether it be the regular, the mini, the max colors, anything in between. I am stitching the mini version of this, and this is roughly what it will look like when it's done. In recent episodes, I talked about how I counted down and started stitching the bottom where the snow section is, or the winter section rather. So what I've done since we last caught up is I had quite a few sort of hanging threads or part threads around, so I've stitched those in. I've probably put in a few extra colours as well. And with the Giants, I thought that they won some games in rounds 16 and 17. Somewhere they must have had a bye or they lost the two, because I'm looking at my notes and I don't see them written down. No, sorry, round 17, they beat Freo, that's right. So the Giants in round 17, they won, and I put a minimum of 109 stitches into this. And the reason why I'm reacting the way I am with this is the Fremantle Dockers are top of the ladder at the moment. They won 14 games in a row, which is quite phenomenal for any team. And GWS were playing in Canberra at Monica Oval, and Freo hadn't played there for yonks. And yonks in terms of, I think the commentators calculated it to being nearly 10 years. So they weren't used to the conditions, and it was one of the worst games they had played for a while. So it was a pretty awesome thing for the Giants to have knocked Freo down a perch or two. They're still top of the ladder, so they're still a pretty awesome thing. So I just like that I've made progress with this. I am stitching this 1/1 on the 25 count easy grid fabric. So the next piece that I have, actually, I don't know if I have many stats to share on this one. In theory, I should, since I've been talking about stats for most other pieces where I can. So let's see. This piece, a Stitch and Time Mini, has 75,400 stitches in it. To date, I have put in 13,297, which has meant that I have a completion percentage of 17.64. It's all cool. I probably should have had a lot more done than I do. I'm not putting pressure on myself. It's okay. So yeah, pretty happy with all that. Now, the next piece that I have to share with you is one that I've nicknamed As Above, So Below, but it's that's not the right name. Its technical official name is Inner Works of Life. It is, again, Heaven and Earth designs based on artwork by Stephanie Law. I did talk about this piece last time we caught up, so that's where we're up. That's what it's roughly going to look like. And I have been putting a little bit of work into this for the Adelaide Crows because I just wanted a little bit more variety in my stitching, and to also put it into perspective, I also needed a break from stitching some of the lighter colours for this piece. So what I did, and I need to make some adjustments. There's a lot of fabric for this one. I just need to fold it up a bit so I can probably show you where I've actually been stitching. So with the Adelaide Crows, what did they do? They did things. They kicked a ball. They kicked it through the big sticks and the small sticks, and they just kicked around people. They did stuff though. What did they do? They won a game in round 17 and they had a total score of 99 points, which means that I put in a minimum of 99 stitches. And where you see a lot of the confetti stitching here, where it's got some of the golden colours and such, that was where I was stitching. I really wanted to do something other than 3865 or 3756 or any of those similar numbers where they are the lighter colours that are hard to see at times. And I'm doing this full cross. Pretty well everything I'm stitching is full cross or a combo of it, and I'll mention if it's 10th stitch where it is appropriate. Yeah, that's sort of where I've been working. That's roughly 99 stitches. It's probably more because I started to get into the groove of the stitching for it. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the progress for that one. And I'm just double checking. Nope, didn't do that one. And that's empty. So that's pretty much my progress for the WIP so far since we last caught up. My next segment is going to be talking about the Commonwealth Games and talking about my plans for stitching and how that's going to work. If you're not interested, that's totally all cool. Thank you so much for sticking around for as long as you have. If you've at least made it to this point, I challenge you to hit the hype button. So I also challenge you to subscribe as well if you're interested, because I've recently been looking at my stats and there's quite a few people who are watching that aren't subscribed, and I'd love to think that you enjoy what I've been working on and that you find my quirkiness awesome enough to actually want to subscribe. So the hype button is a recent thing for YouTube, and I've not clicked on it before, but my understanding with clicking on the hype button for any of the videos is that it helps to give my videos a bit more of a boost. Now, I'd love to think that I could click on the hype button for my own videos and hype them up, but sadly it doesn't work that way. I need to rely on the awesomeness of you guys to help hype any of the videos that you enjoy watching. So if that is the case and you have enjoyed what I've presented so far, I would love a like, I would love a subscribe, I'd love a comment if you have any, and very much a click on that hype button if you see it as well. So if you're interested in what my plans are for stitching regarding the Commonwealth Games, please stick around and we will get into all of those plans. Thank you so much for sticking around to hear about this stitching challenge and how I'm going to try and make it work. So with my previous episode, I had speculated about doing some Christmas themed stitching that might be associated with the teams or countries that are participating in the games and what sports were involved and everything along those lines. And as I was thinking a bit more about it, I decided that I'll not associate a project with any specific team, but I may associate a project with each type of medal and then go from there. I'm still feeling a bit vague about it. We've got roughly a week until the games start, so I've still got a bit more time to mull over this and figure out how I'd like it to work for me. I may end up changing things around a little bit more and associate certain projects with certain countries because I know that they would be more likely to win one of the medals from gold, bronze, silver, whatever it is. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Now, my line of thinking is that for a gold medal, I'll try and put in 500 stitches into a full coverage piece, knowing that that's where I'd be able to put a lot of time and effort into those sort of pieces. For a silver medal, my aim is to put 250 stitches into a partial coverage piece. And then for a bronze medal to stitch an ornament. So that would be, say, roughly 150 stitches. Each ornament might sort of vary a little bit in terms of its size and how many stitches in it, but the logic behind it is that they would be fairly quick stitches. That was pretty much the thought bubble behind it. So in terms of the full coverage pieces that I'd be looking to work on, the first one is a Tilton Crafts piece that I've very slowly been working on for a few years, and it's called Merry Colourful Christmas. This is roughly what it will look like when it's done. I did start this a while ago. I lost my stitching. I couldn't remember where I put it. I then started it again and then found the original one that I started. So this is my original in terms of the original bit. And I stitched, and I've decided to go back to this one because I just really like how my stitching was for this. This is being stitched 2/2 on 28 count linen using DMC thread, and I'm stitching it as the colours are charted. So hopefully all goes well. My biggest challenge at the moment is that because I had started it again on a different piece or piece of fabric, that I'm a little out of balance in terms of where I'm up to on the actual pattern on Pattern Keeper. So that's something I'll figure out in the lead up to all of that. So because I've got at least 3 full coverage Christmas pieces that I've either started, going to start, or going to start, maybe 4, I might be able to assign that to the top 4 countries that are most likely going to win gold medals. So again, that's for me to speculate, mull over and think about. I know that Australia is going to kick butt a bit in the pool. Our next bit of competition will be Canada. They will be a really strong team. And then again, I can't rule out Glasgow as well. I can't rule out Scotland because, hey, any country that's hosting the games, they are allowed to have the maximum amount of athletes in their team. So I can't rule out Scotland. They could very easily be quite strong. England may end up being pretty strong as well in some events. So I need to account for that as well. So I'll be mulling over as to which pieces I want to associate, but it'll be okay. We'll get there. Now, the next one is a paper chart, and it's one that I've slowly been working on as well, that I started perhaps 7 or 8 months ago. And this is called Meowie Christmas by Custom Crafts. This is probably the first full coverage piece that I'm aware of that I've worked on that actually has a little bit of backstitch on it. I have this in a hoop and I should have it out of its hoop. But with all of that said and done, I am stitching this on 14 count Ada. This is where I'm up to. And I actually enjoy working on this. I just haven't put much time into it, and I need to. So Meowie Christmas, while I'm stitching Christmas themed stuff, I'll potentially work on this for the AFL stitching challenge as well. So the Geelong Cats are a bit meh when it comes to their season so far. We also have the Brisbane Lions, who are defending champions from last year. So they are having actually a reasonably good season as well. So I could be putting a lot more than 500 stitches per medal round because of the AFL stitching challenge as well. So yeah, going pretty good. It'll be all good. Now, the next piece that I am considering bringing into rotation is a new start, and this one is from a magazine called Cross Stitch Favorites. This particular issue is the special issue, and I'm just trying to see if there's any other kind of numbering on it that can say as to what year it was part of or anything to that effect. And at least on the cover, I can't see anything that stands out. But my aim would be to start this puppy. Where am I? Yeah, where we see him with the presents sitting under the Christmas tree, and he's such a cutie. I had initially had the intention of starting this guy a few years ago, and I don't know why I didn't. Anyway, that's beside the point. This could come into rotation, and it could even be part of the stitching challenge for AFL in terms of the Western Bulldogs. I'll have to wait and see on that one. The good thing is I know that I've got plenty of fabric to be able to include this piece. And then with the other full coverage piece that I've not started, but thankfully it is a digital chart, is one that I had actually forgotten about, and I'm actually kicking myself for not having it imported into Pattern Keeper sooner. So this is another Tilton Crafts chart, and it's called Colourful Christmas. And this is roughly what it'll look like when it's done, and it is again that same sort of style of merry colourful Christmas. So this one, yeah, I think will be coming into rotation as well. It'll be a new start, and yeah, similar to what I was saying about the cute puppy under the Christmas tree. I've got plenty of fabric that I can start this on. I imagine I'd be stitching this on the 25 count fabric. But yeah, I'll do a bit of a look through my stash and see how I go on that one. Now, that is it for the full coverage things. I've got at least four patterns to go with. Wait and see. Now, in terms of the partial coverage pieces, there are some that I have been working on for a while and I'd love to see finished. And the first one that I've been working on, that I have the typical story where I have it floating around and I just don't know where the bag is right now. I've got some thoughts on where it could be, and it'll be okay. The idea, though, is I do have the magazine with me to show you at least which one I'm thinking of. So the magazine is The World of Cross Stitching, and I'm just checking to see if I can know what the issue number is. So this is issue number 274, and on the cover is the owls that we see at the bottom here. So I'm just going to find the page that it's on. So just to help put into perspective, I have stitched pieces from this one before, and I had stitched Let It Snow. I don't think I've fully finished that one though. Like I've finished stitching it, but I don't think I've fully finished it off. Now, with these Christmas owls, I am most of the way through them. So they have been sort of called Christmas cuddles. This one's been designed by Jenny Barton. I am stitching this on, I think it's 14 if not 18 count Ada, and it is really cute. It is a good stitch. I know that I'm using the called for colors, and the really cool thing though with this one is that the moon that is behind these owls, it's a bit different in the sense that it's been charted to use some possibly glow in the dark style thread that I've never stitched with before, but I think I did purchase some, so that should be all good. So this piece is, yeah, again for the silver medal round, so it'll be at least 250 stitches being put into it anytime a country wins a silver medal. And then, so I'm just checking things next to me. So the next piece that would be partial coverage if a country wins a silver medal is called Snow Queen. Now, to put into perspective, this is where I got up to with Snow Queen, and I don't remember which way around I had them. Anyway, this is the stitching. Even if I have this around the wrong way, doesn't matter for the moment. Now, with Snow Queen, I did start her earlier in June as part of just some winter stitching type of stuff. I'm going to get the bigger picture so you can actually see what she'll look like when she's done. I keep calling her Snow Queen, but she's called Winter Queen. She's a Shannon Christine Designs piece, and yeah, this was the lovely lady that I had started in June, and she could easily be a partial coverage. She's got snow, it's winter, even though it's summer in Glasgow, and it's meant to be the summer Commonwealth Games. It's all by the by. Now, the next one I mentioned and I showed earlier was the Scottie dogs. I've got four Scottie dogs that could easily be in the bronze category as well, depending on what I'm wanting to do. So the other thing as well is with Shannon Christine Designs, I actually have a few more of her patterns that could easily fit within the partial coverage silver medal category. And to help put into perspective, I'll just get this to rotate around a little bit more. Okay, so for the first row, for example, we've got some of the Shannon Christine designs, and I apologize for the glare. So we've got the Christmas baking, we've got the puppy dog with the black fabric, we've got these beautiful hanging baubles. Then we've also got I'm in my Santa era. And then if I scroll down just a little bit, we've got the horrible glare, but we've got Baking Spirits Bright. Then we also have Gingerbread Bakery. Let's just see if there's anything more. No, that's it for the those. So I've got a whole heap of other silver medal contention pieces that I can start and stitch, and they'll end up finishing up pretty quick. So that could be all okay. Now, in terms of the ornamental side of things, when it comes to the bronze medal round, I know that I've got some freebie charts that I'd received from the Adelaide stitching retreat that I went to a month or two ago. And then I've also been having so much fun looking through Pinterest, and I've created a new board for myself that I think would be publicly available as well. And there's been so many inspiring charts and pieces that I've seen on there that would be pretty awesome to stitch up as well. Some of them would be potentially monochromatic, and that could also fit in with the AFL stitching challenge, because we've got the Collingwood Magpies black and white team colours and such, monochromatic and all. That could fit in pretty good too. I've got some really beautiful variegated threads, specialty threads that could fit into it. And then my other thoughts, I'm just going to see if I can find it. Nope, the book is on the floor behind me. There is another thought that I'll just get. Okay, so with this book here, one of the thoughts, this could probably end up being more of a silver medal contention, but this is what I was thinking a bit about the monochromatic and using some of the silks and specialty threads that I've got. So instead of this being stitched in white, as beautiful as this is, my other thought would be to color it up a bit and use some of the specialty threads that I've got, and yeah, see how that goes. I feel like I would need to map it out a little bit as to what colors I potentially use. I don't know, but that's another thought. Then yeah, similar to what I was saying before about the Scottie dogs, that I've just got 4 more to stitch and then it's done. But yeah, this book has so many other options in it that I would love to stitch if need be. So they're pretty much thoughts and plans for how the stitching can work. I think that it's a case of watch this space as to what will work, what won't, and we'll go from there. So this is where I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for sticking around and catching up with me, with seeing the progress that I have made since we last caught up. And again, thank you so much for sticking around if you've watched this segment as well about my Christmas in July style of stitching that may flow over into August as well. Also remembering that with August, especially on the 1st of August, it's known as the horse's birthday. And the other exciting thing, from just a quick side note, 1st of August was when I also moved into this house, and it would mark 16 years of me being in this house. And for me, that's exciting. Like, acknowledging that, yes, I did move away for 3 years, but the fact of home ownership for 16 years, I think, is exciting. And when I had been renting in my younger years of early 20s and such, I moved around a few houses because I didn't understand how concept of renting worked, and that once the 12 months was up, we then had to move regardless of whether we actually had to or not. That was just my understanding of how it all worked. And yeah, so the fact that I've actually stayed put in one place for as long as I have, I think is a pretty good thing for me anyway. It's got that stability of it all. But getting back to the stitching thing, and thanking you all. Again, if you've made it this far, I would love it if you could like, subscribe. If you've got any comments, questions, or anything, would love to hear it in the comment section. And then if you do see that hype button as well, I would so love if you could please click on it if you've enjoyed this particular video, or even if you see the hype button on other videos that I've created that you've really enjoyed. I'd very much appreciate that, because I have been doing this channel for for about 4 or 5 years now, and I feel like I'm still struggling a bit to actually get that coverage that many other amazing people have, and that do amazing stitching as well. So yeah, any support that you can provide, I'd greatly appreciate. But until next time, I hope to see you in a couple of weeks' time, and I'll have some really cool Christmas stitching to share with you as well. Catch you all later, everyone, and happy stitching.